what's going on, everybody? Sebastian back here again with Spin Driving School, and in today's video we're going to take a look at pullovers rather. So just pulling over usually in residential areas for oncoming traffic, which sometimes it can be a little bit tricky, and there's really no rhyme and reason to it. There's no right of way. I've made points to this before in my previous videos. So essentially you just pull over whenever you have space, or if you're being nice and courteous. It should be one car at a time, kind of like a four-way intersection, let's say, right? But a lot of times you'll have 3-4 cars come through in line, at the same time. So it is what it is, but make sure that you make good, safe decisions and don't force your way in there. But okay, let's get to it. Okay, so here we go. So I can see lights coming in. I have space to move over. I have lots of space clearly on the right hand side, so I'm going to pull over here. And yes, if you're doing this on the road test, make sure that you signal and shoulder check. You don't have to, but I would still do that. Now, a lot of times when people do this, they pull over too close to the curb. So try not to pull over too close to the curb and right behind the vehicle, because you don't want to block your own visibility or the examiner's visibility or your passengers, right? So try to pull over kind of maybe like 50% and behind the car, but not all the way, right? So I'm leaving a little bit of space, but that way if someone is behind me, they're not going to think that I'm parking, because a lot of times my students pull over too far, and then if someone's behind you, they can just, they overtake you because they think you're parking, or they don't know what the hell you're doing. And if you have to pull over closer to the curb, then you have to pull over closer to the curb, but try not to be too close, as long as there's enough space for cars to clear the road, obviously. So it does depend on the width of the road. But be careful. If someone is behind you, they might overtake you or pass you. So, shoulder checking and signaling in these situations might be imperative and very important. There you go. There's a situation I was talking about earlier. So multiple cars going through. I'm just going to yield. So 3 cars at a time. Okay. That's, it is what it is. Sometimes you just have to be a little bit more passive. Sometimes you have to be more aggressive. This is why it's called defensive driving. Clearly, larger vehicles, buses, city vehicles, and emergency vehicles, that goes without saying, you should be pulling over regardless. But, sometimes it could work vice versa. So there you go. That person thought about it, but then I stopped. So they're going to proceed on. And then I'm going to proceed onwards when it's clear for me. Pulling over here, sometimes you have to do it really quickly. Sometimes you don't have a lot of space, depending on the car, right? And as always, signal shoulder check. So see, in this case, I did pull over really close to the curb, but not right behind the car. So make sure that you give yourself a lot of visibility up ahead of you as much as you can, or as much as you have. See, same thing here. I'm not pulling over really, really close to the curb. So I'm just giving enough space for these cars to pass, but I don't want somebody who's behind me to overtake me, right? And this does take a little bit of practice, right? Because you have to be really aware of your spacing and of your environment and the size of the car. And, we all have different challenges when it comes to visibility inside of the car. There's a lot of blind spots, and depending on the height of the driver and things like that, these things will vary. But at the end of the day, it comes to practice, and you're going to be in some potentially risky and unfortunate and very nerve-wracking situations. And, I've been in those circumstances where I've hit the curb. God forbid you hit a car, or you drive into someone's house, because people panic and do really crazy things. But always use your brake. If you don't know, slam on the brake. I guess that's the best case scenario, because you don't want to hit anything solid. So that's it. That's all. Stay safe. Keep practicing. See you on the next one. Ciao.